You're in danger.
We have a problem. Let's go get Britt.
General Hospital on ABC.
General Hospital spoilers say that a lot of fans would like to see some changes made to Maxie Jones, Kirsten Storm's character, in the hopes that she can get a beefier storyline. That's because a lot of viewers have noticed that the Maxie that they knew from yesterday certainly isn't the same Maxie that they see today. What happened to this Maxie Jones story on General Hospital? Many General Hospital fans have taken to social media to express how they feel about Maxie Jones and her role on the canvas these days. Some even believe that it would be a good storyline about how Maxie is no longer the fashionista that she once was, along with an explanation for her change. It would be similar to a story about a woman going through trauma and no longer loving the things she once did. Some fans even think this storyline would win Kirsten Storms a much-deserved Daytime Emmy. Of course, many fans have commented on the matter with, "It was a long time ago and my memory is a little fuzzy, but after Judy Evans had her baby and still had the baby wait on another world, they wrote a story for her character Paulina, where she developed a diet pill addiction and she won an Emmy for it." Is there more to Maxie Jones's mental health storyline? Another critic wrote, "I wish soaps would explore psychology more in general, and not just in a randomly crazy because of a man kind of way." So far, Kirsten Storms herself has not made any comments about the matter. Then again, when it comes to this fictional town of Port Charles, anything can happen at any time. Don't forget that General Hospital airs weekdays on the ABC network. Check your local listings for times. In the meantime, drop us a line with your thoughts in our comments section below. Be sure to catch up on everything happening with GH right now. Come back here often for General Hospital spoilers, news, and updates. Of all the sun-drenched, scandal-soaked stories that have unfolded in Port Charles, few have been as compelling, controversial, and ultimately as confounding as the recent saga of Maxie Jones and the mysterious cult known as the Center. For months, this plotline was a standout, praised for its psychological depth, its timely subject matter, and the tour-de-force performance by Kirsten Storms. Then, almost as abruptly as it began, it evaporated from our screens, leaving viewers with a sense of whiplash and a mountain of unanswered questions. The sudden disappearance of Maxie's cult storyline isn't just a case of a plot hitting a dead end. It's a masterclass in the complex, often frustrating, alchemy of modern soap opera production, where creative ambition collides with the unyielding realities of ratings, actor availability, and network mandates. To understand why the plot vanished, we must first appreciate what made it so special. This wasn't a typical soap opera romp involving amnesia or a long-lost twin. This was a slow burn, psychologically nuanced exploration of vulnerability and manipulation. Maxie Jones, a character known for her resilience and sharp wit, was uniquely broken down by a perfect storm of grief, the lingering trauma of losing her daughter, Georgie, professional stagnation, and isolation. Into that void stepped the charismatic yet chillingly benign-sounding guru, Tad. The center offered community, purpose, and a sense of peace, making Maxie's indoctrination terrifyingly believable. Kirsten Storms delivered some of the most critically acclaimed work of her career, portraying Maxie's transformation from a skeptical, grieving woman to a hollow-eyed, true believer with heartbreaking authenticity. The plot was lauded for avoiding mustache-twirling villainy. The danger of the center was in its quiet coercion, its love-bombing, and its gradual erosion of self. It was a mature, relevant story that resonated with viewers in an era where real-world cults and high-control groups are frequently discussed. It had all the ingredients for a long-running, impactful narrative that could have explored deprogramming, family trauma, and redemption. And then it was over. The most significant factor leading to the plot's abrupt conclusion was almost certainly the sudden and tragic passing of Sonia Eddy, the beloved actress who portrayed Epiphany Johnson. Eddy's death in December 2022 was a profound loss for the General Hospital family and its audience. Epiphany was not just a hospital stalwart. She was a moral center, a source of no-nonsense wisdom, and crucially, she was the one who first identified the threat of the center and took steps to investigate it. Her character was the primary engine of the external plot to save Maxie. With Eddie's passing, the writers were faced with an impossible task. They had to handle her exit with the dignity and respect it deserved, which became the immediate priority. The storyline naturally pivoted to focus on the grief of her son, Stan, and her colleagues at GH. The intricate, multi-layered plot to infiltrate and expose the center, which Epiphany was spearheading, lost its leader. To continue that thread without her would have felt disingenuous and disrespectful. It's likely the writers made the difficult but correct decision to scrap the larger conspiracy aspect of the plot entirely to focus on honoring Sonia Eddy's memory, effectively cutting the legs out from under the Maxie-centric narrative. However, the death of Sonia Eddy, while the most impactful reason, is not the sole explanation. Soap operas are a constant balancing act, and the behind-the-scenes chessboard is always in motion. Another major factor was likely the return of two major legacy characters, Jonathan Jackson, Lucky Spencer, and Greg Vaughn, who was previously Lucky but now returned as a new character, which was later adjusted. The return of such a popular actor, especially one tied to the core Spencer family, demands significant screen real estate. The show's writers had to quickly shift gears to accommodate this huge event, integrating him into current storylines involving Elizabeth, Nicholas, and Laura. In the economy of soap opera storytelling, time is a finite resource. A complex, serialized plot like Maxie's requires consistent attention and airtime to maintain its tension and credibility. That airtime was suddenly needed elsewhere for what the network likely saw as a bigger ratings draw. This speaks to a broader issue in the genre, the pressure to prioritize plot over character. Maxie's story was a deep, character-driven piece. It was about the internal struggle of one woman. While compelling, it may have been deemed too narrow by a production team constantly worried about pacing and hooking casual viewers. The allure of a Spencer family mystery, a mob shootout, or a romantic triangle often takes precedence because they are perceived as more traditionally soapy and easier to write in broad, plot-heavy strokes. A sensitive story about cult deprogramming is difficult to write well and difficult to maintain alongside more explosive, action-oriented plots. It's possible the writers felt they had written themselves into a corner or that the story had run its natural course, though the abruptness of the ending suggests otherwise. Furthermore, we cannot discount the practical reality of actor availability and contract stories. Kirsten Storms is a veteran and a fan favorite, but even leads have cycles to their stories. It's possible that the intense, emotionally draining nature of the cult storyline was always intended to be a shorter, powerful arc for Storms rather than a year-long saga. While there's no evidence to suggest she wanted out of the story, the logistics of balancing such a heavy plot with other necessary stories for the character, like her co-parenting with Spinelli and Felicia, may have contributed to the decision to wrap it up quickly. The resolution itself, a few heartfelt conversations with her mother, Felicia, leading to a seemingly instant awakening, was the clearest evidence of a narrative emergency brake being pulled. After such a meticulous and believable descent into the cult, her recovery was unrealistically swift. It ignored the real-world complexity of leaving a high-control group, which often involves extensive deprogramming and long-term psychological support. This rushed ending was a disservice to the story's initial sophistication and left viewers feeling cheated out of a proper payoff. It was a classic case of telling not showing, because they simply no longer had the time or the narrative infrastructure to show it. In the end, the disappearance of Maxie Jones' cult plot is a poignant reminder that the stories we see on screen are the final product of a chaotic and often heartbreaking creative process. It was a storyline born of bold creativity and killed by a tragic real-world event, compounded by the relentless demands of a daily serial drama. The legacy of this plot is twofold. It stands as a testament to Kirsten Storm's incredible talent and a shining example of what General Hospital can achieve when it aims high. Yet, its jarring conclusion also highlights the inherent fragility of soap storytelling, where even the most promising narratives are subject to the unpredictable tides of fate, network priorities, and the simple, sad truth that sometimes real life intervenes and the show must, one way or another, go on.